Milwaukee, a city that awakens slowly, its heartbeat echoing through the empty streets. 6 o'clock in the morning, the first light of dawn barely touching the horizon. The air was biting cold, and the streets were deserted. Snow crunched underfoot, a reminder of the night's chill. A lone figure, bundled in a thick coat, moved like a phantom. His steps were deliberate, each one echoing in the silence. This was no ordinary morning stroll. Every movement was calculated, every breath measured. Today, the city would witness its most daring heist. The air was thick with anticipation, a prelude to the chaos that was about to unfold. The man, known only as Ghost, stopped across from the Milwaukee First National Bank. His presence was almost ethereal, blending into the shadows, a fortress of steel and glass, impenetrable to most, but not to him. His eyes, hardened and cold, scanned the area. Every detail was noted, every potential obstacle calculated. He was a ghost, indeed. Invisible to the untrained eye, a master of his craft, a whisper in the wind about to unleash a storm. His pulse never quickened, his breathing remained steady, the calm before the storm. Inside his chest beat the heart of a predator, calm and collected before the kill. The bank, his prey, the city, his hunting ground. Today, Milwaukee would remember the name Ghost.
Ghost wasn't alone. In the dimly lit room, shadows danced around the figures, each one carrying the weight of their own secrets and regrets. Inside a nondescript van, two pairs of eyes watched the bank's entrance with unwavering focus. The tension was palpable, the air thick with anticipation. Max, the driver, a man whose life had been a series of bad bets, gripped the steering wheel with white-knuckled intensity. His mind raced with thoughts of redemption and the hope that this time, luck would be on his side. Beside him sat Rita, her face hidden in the shadows, a past she wanted to outrun. Her eyes, though obscured, held a steely determination, a resolve forged from years of hardship and survival. They were a team, bound by desperation and a shared desire for a life-altering score. Each member brought their own unique skills and motivations to the table, creating a fragile yet formidable alliance. The plan had been meticulously crafted, every detail analyzed, every contingency planned for. Blueprints were scrutinized, escape routes mapped out, and roles assigned with military precision. Their target, the bank's vault, rumored to hold millions in uncut diamonds. The allure of such a prize was irresistible, a beacon of hope in their otherwise bleak lives. Their reasons for being there were as varied as their personalities. Max, drowning in debt, saw this as his last chance to break free from the chains of financial ruin. Rita, running from something sinister, sought a fresh start, a new identity far from the shadows of her past. And Ghost, his motives, a mystery. He was the enigma of the group, a man whose silence spoke volumes, leaving the others to wonder what drove him to join their perilous endeavor. Time was of the essence. Every second brought them closer to the moment of truth, the point of no return. The clock was ticking, and their fates were intertwined with each passing minute. In the silence of the van, they exchanged glances, a silent communication that spoke of trust, fear, and the unspoken promise that they would see this through together, no matter the cost. As the van door creaked open, they stepped out into the night, each one carrying the weight of their desperate hopes and daring plans. The heist was about to begin. The plan was intricate, relying on timing and precision. They had studied the bank's security system, exploiting its weaknesses. Every camera angle, every guard's patrol route memorized. They weren't career criminals, they were desperate souls driven by circumstances. Max wiped his sweaty palms on his pants. "Ready?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Rita nodded, her eyes fixed on the bank's entrance. Ghost remained silent, his gaze unwavering, his mind already inside the vault. The clock was ticking. Each second brought them closer to the point of no return. This was their one shot at redemption, at escaping the shadows of their pasts. Failure was not an option. 7:55 in the morning. The city was coming alive, oblivious to the drama about to unfold. Ghost, dressed in a security guard uniform, slipped through the bank's entrance, blending seamlessly with the morning rush. Max and Rita watched from the van, their hearts pounding in unison with the ticking clock. 8 o'clock, showtime. Max flicked the radio on, static. Then the unmistakable wail of sirens, a diversion. The plan was in motion. Their carefully constructed world was about to collide with the chaos they had unleashed. Adrenaline surged through their veins, a potent cocktail of fear and exhilaration. Inside the bank, Ghost moved like a phantom, his movements precise and calculated. He bypassed security checkpoints, his disguise granting him access to restricted areas. The vault, his only goal, loomed closer. He could hear the distant echoes of sirens, a reminder of the tightrope they were walking. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and their world would crumble. But Ghost thrived under pressure. He was a shadow, moving through a world oblivious to his presence. The weight of their desperation, their hopes, rested on his shoulders, and he would not falter. Rita's hand trembled as she held the detonator. The diversion was working, but for how long? The police would soon realize it was a false alarm. Time was running out. "Ghost, report," Max whispered into his headset. Silence. Then a click. Ghost's voice, calm and steady, cut through the tension. Red right hand. It was the code. He had reached the vault. Rita's finger hovered over the trigger. One press would blow the vault's lock. The air crackled with anticipation. The fate of their meticulously crafted plan, their lives hung in the balance. Rita took a deep breath and closed her eyes. This was it. Sirens wailed closer. The police were onto them. "Rita, now!" Max hissed, his voice strained. Rita's finger depressed the detonator. A muffled explosion reverberated through the van's speakers. Then silence, an agonizing silence that stretched for an eternity. Suddenly, Ghost's voice, "I'm in." Relief washed over Max and Rita. They had pulled it off. But their ordeal was far from over. The cage of blue lights that awaited them outside was a stark reminder. They had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Ghost moved swiftly, stuffing the diamonds into a duffel bag. His heart pounded against his ribs, a drumbeat urging him on. He could hear the police sirens, feel the walls of their carefully constructed plan closing in. He had the prize. Now, the escape. He sprinted back through the bank, his senses on high alert. Every shadow, every sound could be their undoing. He had to get out, for himself, for Max, for Rita. The air was thick with this metallic scent of fear and adrenaline. He was no longer a ghost, but a hunted man, and the hunters were closing in. Ghost burst through the emergency exit into the alleyway behind the bank. Max and Rita waited in the van, engine running. He jumped in, slamming the door shut. "Go! Go! Go!" he yelled. Max floored the gas pedal, the van screeching as it sped away. They were in the clear for now, but as Ghost glanced back at the bank, his blood ran cold. He wasn't looking at the police. He was looking at a single figure, silhouetted against the bank's entrance. It was the bank manager, a smirk playing on his lips. And he was holding a briefcase, their briefcase. The diamonds were gone. The police apprehended the trio an hour later. Ghost, Max and Rita, notorious for their previous escapades, were finally in custody. The streets of Milwaukee, which had been gripped by fear, now echoed with a sense of justice. The swift action of the police ensured that the criminals had no time to escape or hide. They never stood a chance. The meticulous planning of the police force, combined with the element of surprise, left the trio with no room to maneuver. Their defeat was inevitable, a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice by Milwaukee's finest. The bank manager, it turned out, was no innocent bystander. His seemingly respectable facade hid a mind teeming with deceit and greed. He watched the chaos unfold with a calculated calm, knowing he had set the perfect trap. He had orchestrated the whole heist, using Ghost, Max and Rita as pawns in his game. The blueprints, the timing, the execution, all were his brainchild. He manipulated the trio, promising them riches while ensuring he remained in the shadows, pulling the strings. The city of Milwaukee breathed a collective sigh of relief. The tension that had gripped the community dissipated, replaced by celebrations and gratitude. The citizens, who had lived in fear of the heist's repercussions, now felt a renewed sense of security and trust in their protectors. The great bank heist had been foiled, The news spread like wildfire, with every media outlet covering the story. The police were hailed as heroes, their bravery and quick thinking preventing what could have been a catastrophic loss for the city. But as the news cameras flashed and the reporters scribbled their stories, a chilling truth remained hidden. The mastermind behind the heist was still at large. The public, unaware of this sinister twist, celebrated the victory, oblivious to the lurking danger. The real mastermind was still at large, richer by millions, his smile as cold and sharp as the diamonds he now possessed. He had played his part perfectly, escaping with the loot while his pawns took the fall. His identity remained a mystery, a ghost in the criminal underworld. The city had its heroes. The police officers who risked their lives to protect the community were celebrated and honoured. Their dedication and courage were recognised, and they stood as symbols of hope and resilience. But it also had its secrets. The dark alleys and hidden corners of Milwaukee whispered of untold stories and unseen dangers. The victory, though sweet, was tinged with the bitter knowledge that not all villains had been vanquished. And some secrets, like the icy glint of a stolen diamond, never truly see the light of day. The mastermind's whereabouts remained unknown, his next move unpredictable. Milwaukee's finest hour was a reminder that in the shadows, danger still lurked, waiting for the right moment to strike again.